Hey there, long time no see. If you've been following my channel, you've probably seen videos of my FPV Habu with a head tracker and a 4S battery. The airplane has been an absolute blast, and flying EDFs with friends has made it even better. The problem is, they all fly 6S EDFs. One of my goals is to fly FPV, and maybe even someday join them in a formation. I've also been thinking this FPV setup should be able to go into other airplanes like, say, Warbird, or even bigger jets, like maybe even a free-wing Avanti. So that got me thinking, what would it take to bring this setup to the next level?
Maybe we can do something like this.
Well, this is what I came up with, and I'll show you how I put everything together inside the old trustworthy and somewhat crusty FMS 70mm Viper. And guess what? Yeah, it runs on 6S. She's definitely been around the block a few times, but she's still got plenty of life in her. Then we'll head out to the flying field and find out if the Viper really lives up to its name, or are we going to get bit? Let's take a look at what went into this setup. The first thing you're going to notice is that I removed the canopy. I did this for a few reasons. First, for me, it just cuts down on glare, and it gives me enough vertical room for the antennas and enough room to mount the O4 air unit, the BAG gimbal, and the FMS sync pilot. Like the saying goes, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
They've been giving out those lobotomy coupons in the little friskies again.
So if you found a way to keep the canopy on while still fitting everything inside, let me know down in the comments. Once the canopy was out of the way, it made sense to use the cockpit underneath as the mounting point for almost the entire FPV. Before I settled on this setup, I actually tried a few different 3D printed sleds in both the lightweight PLA and regular PLA. The idea was to mount everything onto a single removable platform, but each of them ended up being way too heavy, and I just couldn't get the center of gravity where it needed to be. The air unit sits inside a custom 3D printed TPU cage. I chose TPU because it's flexible, and if I have a rough landing, or let's be honest, take a dirt nap, the cage can flex a little and absorb some of the impact, giving the air unit a fighting chance of surviving. And because the DJI O4 air unit can be pretty warm, I mounted a cooling fan right on top. I also added some magnets to help keep the cockpit on the plane. Inside the airplane, you're going to find the receiver. The voltage regulator is soldered to this power switch, and the power button is mounted to the underside of the cockpit. In this setup, I'm using a Spektrum AR631 receiver, and one of the best advantages of the FMS Sync Pilot is that it doesn't require dedicated receiver channels for pan and tilt. Instead, the pan and tilt servos plug directly into the corresponding outputs of the Sync Pilot. The FMS Sync Pilot and the cooling fan both run on 5 volts, so they plug into a receiver just like any other servo. I used Y cables so each device could share its own receiver port.
Hi and Bones from the future here. Fish has made a minor mistake. He said that the fan and sync pilot will plug into the receiver using separate Y cables. That's true if you're using a 3-channel head tracking gimbal. In this case, he is using a 2-channel, so the fan is being powered by the extra port, not being used on the sync pilot. This is why you will only see 1 power cable and not 2.
If you're using a receiver with extra channels, like an 8-channel receiver, you can plug your device into any of those receiver ports instead. Now I warn you, all this wiring, it definitely adds to the Viper's already huge cluster.
Fudge.
Only I didn't say fudge. I said the word. The big one. The queen mother of dirty words. The F-dash word.
What did you say? That's what I thought you said.
Of wires. After completing the installation and making sure everything was working as intended, it was time to head to the field. As with a new setup, I had the Viper flown line of sight first to make sure it was properly trimmed, while I checked that the FPV side of the house and all the setup seemed to work correctly. And once I knew everything was flying the way it should, it was finally time to put my goggles on, and as we say, send it. The first thing I noticed was how easy it was to forget I was flying an RC airplane. With the head tracking working, it really felt like I was sitting in the cockpit. Being able to look into turn instead of staring straight ahead adds a whole new level of immersion. The Viper has plenty of power, tracks beautiful through the air, and the DJI-04 air unit produces some outstanding images. That's exactly what I hoped for in this project would become. One thing I learned pretty quickly is that the Viper likes to be landed with a little bit of finesse. It'll let you know when your technique needs work. Ask me how I know. A couple of bouncy landings, all it took to donate some of the landing gear to the RC Gods. And if you're wondering about the piece of repair tape on the nose, yeah, my OCD is still filling out a complaint form on a BA 1100 NS form. So let's just pretend it isn't there. All right? Overall, I'm really happy with how this project turned out. It took a lot of experimenting, a few redesigns, and more than a little bit of trial and error, but I think the end result was well worth it. If you'd like to see a free downloadable build guide, let me know in the comments below. If there's enough interest, I'll post it so you can use it, or you can modify it, make your own, or throw it away. And if you have any ideas, questions, or you've tackled this project in a different way, I want to hear about those too. Some of the best ideas come from conversation down here in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, share it with a friend, or subscribe. I don't make these videos for sponsorship or any money. I make them because I genuinely love this hobby. So until next time, may your crashes be limited, but if they ain't, make them cool. See yas!